So yeah, this is our first month of Shift Yes Tribe. Super excited rolling it out. You know, our theme is around saying yes, creating a culture of saying yes, etc. And it's been great. We put out the 3 easy ways, right? So we talked about why, we talked about how. It's been great to see people's response and like people getting on board. Also, it's nice, it's fun to dive into a little bit of the like pushback from that, right? Because no matter what the topic is, there's always challenges, there's always people that are like, that's a cool idea, right? It's like, yeah, but this, right? There's just always challenges with any topic.
Yeah, one of the things I remember you telling me a lot about is people saying that you can't say yes to everything.
Right.
So how do you navigate that?
Of course, yeah, because you can't. The misconception is that if we have a culture of trying to say yes, that we expect people to say yes to everything, and like that's not realistic. You can't say yes to everything. It's business, right? It's like we're adults, it's real life. We have to be critical thinkers, we have to be strategic, we have to be analytical. You can't say yes to everything, and it's not about the outcome of saying yes to every single thing that comes up in the world. That's so important not to like misconstrue that as being like we have to be Pollyanna and fake that we're happy. It's about our choice of words. It's about our mindset, our energy level, right? It's not the outcome. It's not that we say yes or no, even it's how we say yes and how we say no and make other people feel and their experience with us. So, you know, to the individual, when someone says yes to me, I feel like I'm cared about as a human being. My contribution individually matters here, and like I matter, you see me. And when we do it as a culture and an environment, we create a space where people can share ideas and speak up, and right, they can be creative, or I don't have to, if I have an idea that I think other people won't like, I still have enough space here to share it because people are going to be open and receptive to it. And like you can't say yes to everything. It's not possible. But for us to just have an intention of looking for ways to say yes when we can, it's like it's the mindset of it that creates the environment and the individual experience for customers, employees, everybody, right?
So then related to that, how do you avoid just saying yes for show without actually putting actions behind it?
Right, where people are just like, yeah, but this actually thing, and like we never even considered saying yes to your idea. I think that, especially as a leader, right, because that leaders set the tone for that, and we sort of build that accountability within our team. It's the discipline of it, right? It's like taking time and proving that you actually care. When you suggest an idea or you have a suggestion, I can take a moment and take a beat to like suspend having an opinion, right? And like, tell me more about that is my favorite tool of that. It's like taking a beat. If you, the worse that your idea is, the more that I hate it, the more important it is for me as a leader or part of a team to just say, hey, tell me more about that, right? And start building a mindset of accountability where I'm open to the fact that you might have a solution that I overlooked, or the reason why that's important to you could be something that we find a way to say yes to. And a lot of that just has to do with the discipline of suspending having an opinion all the time and proving, right? Like the way to avoid just being like, yeah, but is to actually ask questions of like, tell me more about that. Why do you think that's important? Even with my team, like it becomes kind of a joke. If one of my team members suggests something to me and I say, tell me more about that, they know that I hate their idea. Like they know that I don't like it. But what I'm saying is at face value, I don't love that idea, but I'm open to the conversation about it and building that accountability, because that's how my team responds too. Like when they don't like an idea, I see them even with each other respond that way or be like, okay, cool, tell me more about that. Let's talk about that. Which just, we create space for possibility and people feeling listened to. It's so critical. So it takes discipline, right? To avoid it just being for show. We just say, yeah, but no, actually no. Just dive in, ask questions, listen, like understand people first and postpone having an opinion all the time. I think that's the biggest piece of that. Yeah.
So I know you work with a ton of different organizations, some of which are pretty heavily regulated, right? Financial institutions, government institutions. Yep. And I imagine that creating a culture of saying yes in that type of environment can be challenging.
Yeah.
So what's your advice for those people? How do they manage that?
Yeah, totally. And that comes up a lot, right? Where we're heavily regulated by laws, rules, restrictions, et cetera, policies. Core element of that to me is that if we have this size of a box to work within because we are restricted in some way, we don't use that as an excuse not to try. So creating the idea of saying yes as a cultural norm, right? And the environment that we want to create there is that if we have this box to work in, we will, like with fervor, still creatively look for any way possible, because we have these restrictions, but within that, can we find any way to do this to make it work, to like find a way around that or through it that still works? The reality is that it's still difficult to do. And with any of these topics, with saying yes, it's not like we're gonna be perfect at it. It's challenging, and there are times when we have to say no, and navigating that as a team and building capacity over time, because if we just have that intention over 6 months, 6 months from now, it's gonna be naturally built into our fabric and DNA of looking for a way to say yes and building that process and that mindset for us. So I think that's something to remember, is that we're not going to be perfect at anything. It's not easy to do, but the intention and the results of it that we create in brand loyalty from customers and from employee engagement is so worth it for us to have that intention and just try, right, earnestly and support each other and look for ways to say yes and like just focus on the impact of that and why it's important.